The great galactic council chamber was filled with hundreds of voices, different languages echoing through translation spheres. Alien leaders from every corner of the galaxy sat on their high seats. Tall beings with crystal skin, short ones with glowing eyes, and many more were present. It was a rare day one where a new species would speak before them. It was humanity's first time in the council hall. 3 humans walked in quietly. They wore simple uniforms with the Earth emblem over the chest. No guards, no grand entrance, no weapons. Just 3 calm humans stepping into a room full of powerful empires. Their leader, a man named Dean, had calm eyes and a steady step. Beside him, a woman named Claire held a small tablet. The third, an older man called Ellis, carried a small case. The hall fell silent for a moment. Then came the murmurs. They sent only 3. Where are their guards? How bold of them. The council chair, a creature with 6 arms and a voice that sounded like wind through rocks, welcomed them. Humans of Earth, it said, you may speak. Dean stepped forward and bowed his head. We thank the council for this chance to speak, he said. We come with a simple offer. We ask for peace, trade, and mutual defense. Earth is ready to join the council in friendship and support. There was silence for a second. Then laughter. It started as a low chuckle from one side. Then another joined. Soon, the entire chamber was filled with laughter. Loud, mocking, harsh. Mutual defense, said one council member. What will you defend with your tiny ships made of metal? Trade? Your planet still uses fuel. And cables. You have no history, no reach, no strength. Your children playing with stars. The laughter didn't stop. Some even wiped their eyes, shaking their heads in amusement. A few looked bored, clearly not taking this seriously. But the humans didn't flinch. Dean waited patiently. Claire stood still, eyes focused. Ellis didn't even blink when the laughter died down. Dean stepped forward once more. His voice remained. Calm, we understand, he said. Thank you for your time. Is that it? A tall reptilian figure called out. No speeches, no begging. No, Dean answered simply. You have made your decision. So have we. He turned. The other 2 followed. They walked out without a word, without anger, without emotion. Silence followed them, not the silence of respect, but of confusion. Many council members watched them go, unsure of what had just happened. Strange creatures. Ah, someone muttered. So weak, another said. Yet so calm. Outside the hall, the humans stepped into their shuttle. Once inside, Claire sighed softly. They didn't even listen. They listened, Dean said. They just didn't understand. Yet Ellis added, the shuttle. Lifted off quietly, heading back to the human ship, waiting near the edge of the council space. The ship was old, not flashy. Nothing about it screamed danger. Just a simple vessel carrying simple people. But inside, the crew was already alert. Messages were sent. Encrypted orders followed. When the ship left the area, it didn't return to Earth. It moved toward a hidden station behind a small gas giant one the council didn't know existed. The station was quiet but deep inside. Something stirred. Large machines came alive. Ships, far larger than what the council had seen, started rising from the hidden docks. They weren't shiny or beautiful. They looked like old war machines, rebuilt with strange tech, but they were strong. They were ready. Humanity had shown peace first. They had offered friendship. But now, they would prepare on their own. Not for war, but for independence. Back in the council hall, the laughter faded. A few members kept thinking about the way the humans walked out, not angry, not scared. Just silent. Maybe we were too harsh, a quiet voice said. Nonsense, replied another. They're nothing. They'll come back begging one day. But deep inside, a few of them weren't so sure, because sometimes silence is louder than words. And the humans had walked out with a silence that felt like a warning. The human ship, now far from the Galactic Council's space, moved quietly through deep space. No announcements, no signals. Just silence. The ship looked simple, old even. But inside, it held secrets the galaxy hadn't seen yet. Dean stood in the command room. His eyes were locked on the screen showing their path. Claire worked beside him, checking codes and sending hidden signals. Ellis sat nearby, reading a small report with a frown. "Are they all ready?" Dean asked. "Yes," Claire replied. "Our fleets are already in motion. Phase 2 has started." "Good," Dean said. The council had their chance. Now we do this alone. The ship reached a hidden jump gate behind a cold, dark moon. It wasn't in any council map. Few humans even knew it existed. As the ship passed through the gate, the stars around them changed. They entered a system filled with strange shadows and quiet hums. In the center was a massive space station human-built, but hidden from the galaxy. Around it, dozens of strange ships floated. They were not like the ships Earth once used. These were sharper, heavier, and powered by something new. As their ship docked, crews welcomed them in silence.
Ow.
There were no loud cheers or speeches, only focused people, eyes steady, hands moving, scientists, engineers, and soldiers, all working together. Ellis handed Dean a tablet. "Reports show the first upgrades are complete. Our main fleet is cloaked near the border. Second fleet is protecting Allied systems quietly." "Any word from the council?" Dean asked. "Nothing yet," Claire said. "Getting closer to our space, they're looking for signs." "Let 'em look," Dean said. "They won't see anything until it's too late." Deep inside the station, in a locked chamber, a group of scientists stood around a strange device. It hummed softly, glowing a pale blue. No one else in the galaxy had something like it. Was the result of years of human research mixed with fragments of old alien tech found on dead worlds? "This engine alone," one of the scientists said, "can power 5 warships for years. And it bends light," another added. "They won't even know we're near." Humanity had been quiet for a reason. While the council laughed, Earth had worked. While the galaxy fought over old tech, Earth had studied, built, and hidden everything from the stars. Dean walked into the chamber and looked at the machine. "How long before we test it?" he asked. 2 days, the lead scientist said, "but we're already ahead of schedule." Outside, the new human ships prepared for their first silent flight. Cloaked and powered by the strange new engine, they moved like shadows across the stars. Meanwhile, back at the Galactic Council, strange reports were coming in. "Our probe disappeared near Sector 9, one commander said. "Another ship sent to watch human space is gone," said another. "No signal, no trace. What are they hiding?" No one had answers. Some wanted to send more scouts. Others said to wait. A few warned that maybe the humans were not as weak as they thought. But pride stood tall. "They're just hiding in fear," said one council elder. We laughed, and now they're ashamed. In the shadows of the galaxy, humanity kept moving. They reached out to smaller worlds, planets the council had ignored. Poor planets, forgotten ones. Humans brought food, medicine, tools, not promises, not control, just help. And slowly those small planets started to talk. "Humans help us." They didn't ask for anything. They listened. Ships from those planets began to follow human ships. It's not because of fear, but because of trust. On one moon, a council patrol ship tried to stop a human aid team, but the human ship didn't fight. It cloaked, disappeared, and later returned from another angle. Completing its mission without conflict, the council was confused. They're everywhere and nowhere. How are they doing this? One alien leader watched the growing reports and whispered, "They're moving like they knew we'd say no. They planned this." And that was true. Humanity had prepared for rejection. It hoped for peace. But they had built for silence. Dean stood before a large map of the stars. Red dots marked council territories. Blue ones showed new allies. Yellow lights blinked where human ships now moved. "They thought silence meant weakness," he said softly. "But silence is our shield, and our answer," Claire added. Earth never wanted war, but they would not be laughed at again. They had left the council chamber quietly, but now the stars would start to whisper their name. Inside the main hall of the Galactic Council, Confusion was spreading like fire. Over the last 2 weeks, 4 scout ships had vanished near human space. No signals, no wreckage, no survivors. Every time a ship tried to sneak close, it simply disappeared. The council leaders met again, this time behind closed doors. They're hiding something, one alien said with a sharp voice. They're using new technology, said another. It's not registered in any of our records. A third voice, older and calmer, added, they're not attacking. They're just avoiding us, but very well. Someone tapped a screen.
Ella!
Images appeared. Blurry shapes, almost invisible, moving. Near the edges of different sectors, that's their new ships, the voice said. They don't reflect light, don't give off energy trails. How can a species like humans build this so quickly? No one had an answer. Meanwhile, in a quiet system far from the council's eyes, a large asteroid spun slowly. It looked empty, lifeless. But deep inside, humans had carved out a secret base. Inside, engineers worked on more advanced engines. Soldiers trained with new gear. Scientists studied old alien tech and made something new from it. Dean stood near, a wide window, watching several new ships fly past in perfect silence. Fleet 1 is fully ready, Claire reported. Fleet 2 is spread across Allied systems. No council ship has seen them yet. Good, Dean said. What about the new relay towers? Half are working. The rest will be ready in a week. We'll have instant communication across all. Human-controlled space. Ellis entered the room with a datapad. Small planets are starting to ask for help directly, he said. Not just aid. They want protection. They want to leave the council's shadow. Are we ready for that? Claire asked. Dean nodded. We won't start a war. But if others ask for peace and safety, we give it. Quietly and completely. In a nearby control room, young pilots prepared for a mission. They weren't going to fight, they were going to rescue. Council-controlled mining world had just suffered a storm that knocked out its power. The council hadn't responded, but the humans would. The ships left silently. They arrived, fixed the systems, gave food and water, and left before the council even noticed. But the miners did notice. They didn't ask for payment. They just helped. And their ships were silent. Word spread fast across the galaxy. Stories of quiet human ships helping in the dark grew. Not in loud news channels, but through whispers between workers, miners, and traders. People who lived on the edge, who had been ignored for years, started to look toward Earth, and the council noticed. Why are people talking about humans with respect? A leader snapped. Because they're doing what we stopped doing, someone replied. Helping. In the Outer Rim, another incident shook the council. A pirate fleet attacked a weak colony that had recently traded with humans. No help came from the council. But when the pirates landed, they found their ships disabled without warning. Human drones had shut down their engines. No shots fired, no one killed. And then came a message. This world is under protection. Leave now. The pirates ran. The colony sent a thank you signal. Earth didn't respond. It never replied to thanks. They just kept moving. Dean received the report with a small nod. Good. No damage. None, Claire said. Their people are safe. And now they know we keep our word. Even without joining us, Ellis added. As days passed, more strange things happened. Council ships started finding their own patrol routes empty. Their supply lines were untouched, but quiet. Their monitoring posts picked up no sound. It was like a ghost was moving through space. But it wasn't a ghost. It was humanity. They weren't building an empire with threats. They weren't making speeches or showing power. They were moving like a silent current, helping, protecting, building. And others began to follow. Small ships began to fly Earth's flag. A few even asked to dock at the hidden stations. Humans accepted them without a word. The council held another emergency meeting. They're growing stronger. Haven't attacked anyone. But they're winning the hearts of people without even speaking. What do we do? There was no clear answer. In the silence of deep space, a human ship passed near a broken alien satellite. It slowed, stopped, and repaired the device without being seen. Then it moved on, leaving the satellite working again. Dean watched the stars quietly. Didn't smile, but there was calm in his face. "They laughed at us," he said softly. "But now, they don't know what to say." Claire looked at the growing list of planets that had reached out. "They're starting to listen," she said. "Good," Dean replied, "'cause we never stopped." The Galactic Council chamber was no longer full of laughter. Now it was filled with worry. Reports came in every hour, ships missing, colonies whispering about humans, and trade routes slowly changing direction. One council member stood in the center, holding a glowing sphere. It showed a star map. Red dots marked council territory. Small blue lights blinked where humans had been seen. Each day, more blue lights appeared. "They are spreading," the alien said. "But not by war. They help others. They protect. And they never speak a word of it." Others watched the lights closely. The room stayed silent. Finally, the council head spoke. "This must stop. Send a message to Earth. Demand they return to the council and explain their actions. And if they don't respond," someone asked, "then we take steps. We remind them who leads this galaxy." A message was sent. On Earth's moon, inside a hidden base under the surface, Dean read the message on a screen. Claire stood beside him, her arms crossed. "They want us to explain ourselves," she said. "We already did," Dean replied. They laughed. We walked away. Ellis entered the room, holding another report. 3 more colonies just sent requests for protection. Small ones, nothing fancy, but they chose us instead of the council. Claire gave a short nod. "It's spreading faster now. We're not asking for trust, they're giving it." Dean leaned back in his chair. "It's because we're doing what matters. While the council talks, we act." He tapped the message once and sent a short reply. "Earth stands by its actions. We protect. We help. We answer to those in need. No threats. No insults. Just truth." The council received the reply and held another meeting. Tension grew. "They don't fear us. They don't obey us. They act like we don't matter." "Any more?" The council leader raised one hand. "Then it is time we remind them. Send a ship to human space. A large one. Make it a show of strength." A massive warship, tall and wide with shining armor, was sent toward a border world protected by humans. The goal was simple: show power and make humans step back. But when the ship arrived, it didn't find fear. It found silence. 3 human ships were already there. They didn't raise weapons. They didn't send warnings. They just stood between the warship and the planet. The alien captain sent a message: "Move aside or face punishment." No reply. The human ship stayed still. Then, without a sound, the alien warship's engines began to fail. Its lights dimmed. Its systems shut down, not destroyed, just disabled. The human ships didn't move. One short message came through: "This planet is under protection. You may leave now." With no choice, the alien ship retreated, still trying to understand how its systems failed. It wasn't a weapon. It was something else. Something quiet. Something human. Back at the council, the news caused shock. Did they do that? What technology is this? No one knew, and that scared them more than anything. Dean watched the footage of the event. He didn't smile. He didn't cheer. Just gave a small nod. "We don't need to destroy," he said. "Let's remind them that we're not weak." In deep space, more human ships spread out. They followed trade routes, watched over small colonies, repaired damaged stations, and helped where help was needed. They asked for nothing in return. Slowly, the word Earth began to carry weight. Not because of war, but because of action. On one planet, a young alien child pointed to the sky and said, "That's a human ship. They protect us." The parent looked up with respect. "Yes." And they asked for nothing. Meanwhile, small alien groups inside the council began to speak. Maybe humans were right. Maybe we need to listen to them now. But others still held on to pride. They walked out in silence. That was disrespect. They're building a new power under our eyes. We must act now. But how could they fight someone who didn't fire a shot, who didn't shout, who didn't boast? Humanity was changing the galaxy not with force, but with presence. They didn't demand loyalty. They earned it. In the silence after every mission, in the quiet after every rescue, the stillness after every reply, the galaxy began to realize something: the humans weren't trying to lead. They were becoming leaders. By being the ones who showed up when no one else did, and they never needed to say a single word. The stars over the outer rim looked peaceful. But under that calm sky, the galaxy was changing. Small colonies that were once forgotten had grown stronger. Planets that once feared pirates now felt safe. All of them had one thing in common: they were under human protection. On one such planet, a group of farmers gathered near a landing pad. A human supply ship had just landed, bringing food, medicine, and parts for their broken machines. The humans didn't speak much. They worked quickly, helped kindly, and left just as quietly as they came. The leader of the colony, an old alien, with deep lines on his face, watched the ship rise into the sky. "They never ask for thanks," they said. "They just make sure we're okay," someone added. Across the galaxy, stories like this were spreading. It wasn't just the poor worlds. Talking now, it was traders, miners, and even soldiers who had seen human ships pass by without causing harm. And always, they brought help inside the council chamber. The pressure was building. "We've lost influence in 27 systems," one leader shouted. "And we still can't track their new ships," another said. "They move like shadows. People are choosing them over us. This is getting worse." The council leader sat still. His eyes watched the data, and he stayed quiet. Then he said, "They offered peace. We laughed. Now they speak through action." Someone stood and yelled, "They are building an empire?" "No," the leader replied. "They are building trust." On Earth's moon base, Dean walked through a hallway filled with quiet workers. Engineers repaired drones. Medics packed supplies. Soldiers trained in silence. They all knew what they were doing. No one needed speeches. Claire met him at the command room door. "Another message from the council," she said. "They want to meet. This time they're not laughing." Dean took the tablet and read the message. It was short, respectful. "The council invites Earth to speak once again. We are ready to listen." He handed the tablet back. "Schedule it. Should we bring ships?" Claire asked. "No," Dean said. "Just us, like before." 3 days later, the human shuttle entered the council chamber. Just like the first time, only 3 humans walked in: Dean, Claire, and Ellis. But this time, the room was silent. No laughter. No jokes. Every eye followed them. The council leader stood. "Humans of Earth, we welcome you. We apologize for how we treated you last time." Dean nodded politely. "We understand. You have shown strength. Not through war, but through kindness. Not through fear, but through action," the leader continued. "You have helped where we failed, protected where we ignored. We cannot deny it anymore." He paused, then added, "You have changed the galaxy without a single demand." Dean looked around the room. "We only did what we believed was right. Peace was always our goal." Another council member stood. "What do you want from us now?" Dean shook his head. "Nothing. We don't want to rule. We don't want control. We'll continue to help, with or without your approval." A moment of silence passed. Then the council leader said, "Perhaps it is time we follow your example." Outside the chamber, news spread fast. Humans had returned, not to beg, not to threaten, but to stand in peace again. And this time, the galaxy was listening. In the weeks that followed, several council races sent requests to learn from Earth's teams. They wanted to study human aid systems, their silent ships, their cloaking tech. And more than anything, they wanted to understand why humans helped so much without asking anything in return. On a small world once full of fear, a child looked up as a human ship passed overhead. "They came back," he whispered. His mother smiled. "They never really left." On Earth's moon base, Dean stood beside a window. watching the stars. Claire joined him, holding a report. 5 more planets want our help, she said. One of them is a council world. Help, Dean replied. Ella stepped into the room, holding a small patch. It was the symbol of Earth, stitched onto fabric. They want to wear this, he said. All of them, not because they have to, but because they want to. Dean took the patch and looked at it. He remembered the day they walked out of the council chamber, the laughter, the silence. The long journey that followed. We didn't need to shout, he said. We just needed to walk the right path. Now the galaxy followed. Not because they were forced, but because humanity had proven that even in silence, they could be heard.